Oh. 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 Welcome to Meaningful Mornings. For the past 2+ years, around 250 seekers join us every morning, live or recorded, for Meaningful Mornings. That is a significant quantity. And so what we've tried to do is to personalize this experience, especially with an important subject like contemplation. So a special program was devised involving concentration, conversation, contemplation. As soon as this was completed, again, focusing on personalization, what was offered to the community is one with one. Whenever you think of one-on-one, does your mind go to basketball? Some sort of competition. Sheila and I watched the movie Hustle yesterday, where there's a lot of one-on-ones, but one with one, because we're both one. It is not a competition or a power struggle for you to share, for me to listen. In the dozens of one with ones that I've engaged in, one of the common questions is, what sadhana should I engage in? What discipline should I practice? And those who are asking are those in Meaningful Mornings, those in our courses, which means you're already engaged in enough Shravana, or listening, or input. You don't need to do more of that. The sadhana you need to engage in is manana, reflecting, internalizing, personalizing. What we do together in Meaningful Mornings is reflect. A verse is read, it is translated, and then different perspectives on that translation is shared for us to reflect upon, to make this our own. This is a very beautiful experience to reflect together. In my parents' home, they have a small plaque that says, "A family that prays together stays together." I've been to many homes where people stay together, but they're not really a family. I think that plaque has to change to a family that learns together, grows together. Staying and growing are quite different, correct? In verse 24, Sri Krishna is trying to lift Prince Arjuna's perspective that you cannot perceive infinity. You can't do any verb infinity. You can only be infinity. That's clear to all, at least logically. So then in our reflection, how do we be? The build up to being is quietude. the more quiet you are, the more yourself you are. I share about nature. The more you're in nature, the more natural you are. So then we reflect, okay, I don't know how to be quiet. I don't know how to be quiet, then what do I do? Idols. IDOLS. Worship idols. Because what are these idols? These idols are symbols for ideals. Ideals like patience, compassion, discipline, trust, and so on. Virtue development leads to quietude, which leads to being. In our Devi culture, satsang, I'd shared how in our culture we use a coconut. We offer a coconut to the divine because a coconut looks like our head. Can't you see this coconut right now? The hair is here, the eyes are here, and so on. And what are you supposed to do with that coconut? Crack it. I have to crack my head, which means I have to crack my ego. See the symbolism? So idols are indicators. Even ideals are indicators. If there's an indicator, there has to be an indicated. That is the infinite. Shri Krishna continues with this train of thought in verse 25. Naham prakasha sarvasya yoga maya samavritaha mudho yamna bhijanati loko mam ajam avyayam. Na, no. Aham, I. Prakashaha, which means light or illuminate. In this train of thought, it means manifest. Sarvasya, in all ways. His implication is people, they do not know that I manifest in all. They do not know this. Reflecting on this differently, infinity is irrespective of condition. If you close your eyes, there is still infinity, correct? If you're in Canada, there's still infinity. Infinity is irrespective of condition. Think of this along the lines of gravity. If you're on your bed, there's gravity. If you're underground, there's gravity. If you're on a plane, there is gravity. It doesn't matter what condition you put on it. So now a further implication, live like this. The more we live in an unconditional way, the more we are knowing and being infinity rather than trying to perceive it. Next quarter. How come people don't realize that I manifest as all? Yoga Maya. I'll just pause there and then get to the next word. It is because of Yoga Maya. One interpretation of this, that Maya has come from the divine. Divinity expresses through Maya. That's more poetic. We come down to the relative. We are engaged in yoga. Yoga means to unite, but uniting with what? Maya. We should be uniting with the divine, but what are we uniting with? Maya. Now here's the effect of all of this. Samavritaha. Avarana means to not be able to describe. In other words, complete lack of clarity. Like at nighttime, if you told me to describe Sheila's face, I can't see her face. There's no perception. And the prefix sam, that accentuates this more. Because of Maya, we are unable to know and be the infinite. And this is happening all the time. If I don't have knowledge of the infinite, then my whole life, what do? I live by perception. Eat, drink, and be merry because there's nothing else. Third quarter. Such people are mudaha. Tell me in the chat what the word muda is. There's a misprint in my book. I need your help. What does mudaha mean? Fool, okay. Yes, moody, exactly. Someone who gives such reality to their emotions is a muda. There's a cloudiness in their mind, a lack of clarity. Ayam na abhijanati. This foolishness is what inhibits them from knowing me, being me. Here's a visual for you. When light, which is imperceptible, correct? Nobody can see pure light. Do you agree? When light expresses through a prism, then what do we start to perceive? A rainbow. Simple. Grade 5 science. Shall we go back? Now making this philosophical. Existence, awareness, joy. Imperceptible. You can't perceive joy. You can only be joy when it expresses through Maya. Then what do we start to perceive? The gunas. Just like a rainbow with colors is the gunas with all of creation. And that's all we feel we are. That's all we feel another person is. That person's tamasic. That person's rajasic. Obviously, I'm sattvic. Maya, guna, and then kanda. It doesn't end with the gunas, more kanda. Girls and boys, black and white, rich and poor. Don't we do that with colors? It's not pink, it's salmon. It's not salmon, it's magenta. More division, more division, more division. And what gets lost? Where did this rainbow come from in the first place? Not the prism, it came from light. The kanda implies there's existence. Everyone feels bad. Shri Krishna is calling Viveka Muda. He's not calling you a Muda. You are jnanis. I am the Muda. So what am I supposed to do to become a jnani? In the fourth quarter, Lokaha, this world, doesn't know me, but they should know me. Mam, that I am of the nature of Ajam. I am unborn. Avyayam. I am unchanging. Pujya Swami Tejomayananda shared, in a magic show, everyone is deluded by the sleight of hand other than who's not? The magician. All are fooled by the magic other than the magician and those who are serving the magician, correct? The person getting cut in half, the person handing the rabbit, In this language, it would mean being a bhakta. The bhakta that is a jignasu. I need to know, using the same language, Bhagavan. And certainly this Bhagavan is outside, but I first have to know this Bhagavan is within me. One becomes introspective, introvert. If you are practicing being a bhakta, then you feel Bhagavan within you. And if you're not fond of this language of bhakti, shifting it over to a knowledge perspective, all that we are seeking, we already are. If Bhagavan lives inside of a bhakta, who is a bhakta really? Bhagavan. If your nature is joy and you are seeking joy, what are you actually seeking? Yourself. Is it complicated? You are you. Live by an ideal. Become quiet. Be joy. From inspiration, I should change it to from extreme inspiration to application. Your application on Thursday, June 9th was to identify what you can't say no to. Now listen carefully to the reflection towards this. If you can't say no to an article, being, circumstance, the automatic implication of this is you won't be able to say yes to divinity. You don't know how to say no, you won't know how to say yes. To be divine is not an also path. It is an only path. Your application from Friday, June 10th was to feel that infinity never manifested. How many of you tried this? It's complex, shocking. A reflection towards this. It is inaccurate to share that the infinite does not manifest. You cannot, and so you must not, put conditions on the infinite. If you do, then it's not infinite, correct? Your application for this morning. We only have 5 more verses in chapter 7. This is an amazing experience we're going through is about to be completed so that we can start another amazing experience in chapter 8. I want you to try to identify what is the theme of this chapter in one English word. What is the theme of chapter 7 in one English word? Shanti, Shanti, Shantihi. Be safe, be sound, be serene, be joy.